I wanted to show you this unusual structure. It's where the treasures of the mosque were kept, an early Islamic bank vault set high up on these Roman columns that don't quite fit. Now up here, look carefully, there's a sundial that was used to calculate the times of the call to prayer when every Muslim was expected to turn to Mecca. Now that's a very easy thing to say. At the call to prayer, you turn to Mecca. But how exactly would somebody living in 8th century Damascus know where Mecca was? It's relatively easy here. Mecca isn't that far away. But what if you come from West Africa, from Timbuktu, or Samarkand in Central Asia, or Genghis Khan country? Well, you begin by inventing some helpful instruments like these. Astronomy, mathematics, geometry. Arabian science was far ahead of the West in all of them. And such exquisite instruments were fashioned by Islamic craftsmen to make simpler the difficult task of knowing exactly where Mecca was. No one is certain where 1001 Arabian Nights was written. Probably here in Cairo. The atmosphere's certainly right. The streets here teem with rascals, smooth talkers and clowns. It's intoxicating, but also edgy. All religions attract conflict as well as stability. With destiny to play for, there's always room for differing opinions, and Islam is no different. The big split in Islam is between Sunni and Shiite. Someone once explained it to me as the equivalent in Christianity of the difference between Methodists and Catholics, with the Shiites as the Catholics. And it's true. Shiite art is usually more ornate and florid than Sunni. But sometimes it's the other way round. With Islamic art, you never quite know where the journey's going to finish. But the reasons for the Sunni-Shiite split are plain enough. It was a dynastic dispute, an argument over who should lead Islam. The Shiites believed only those descended directly from the Prophet himself, family members, could claim to be his successor. The Sunnis, meanwhile, insisted that caliphs should be chosen for their organizational talents, their suitability, not their bloodline. So, was it reason or emotion, the brain or the blood? This is the shrine of Hussein, the Prophet's grandson and son of Fatima, Muhammad's favourite daughter. Fatima was married to Ali, who was chosen as Caliph, one of Muhammad's successors, and then assassinated. His son, Hussein, went to war against the Sunni Umayyads to right this wrong, but he too was killed and his family murdered. Thus, blood entered the equation, lots of it. And in these parts, that's not quickly forgotten. The Shiites were marginalized by the Sunni caliphs and became the party of rebels and minorities. The disaffected turned to them. They were the Robin Hoods of Islam and learned to be utterly ruthless. Fated to remain a minority in the early Islamic world, the Shiites only claimed one major territory for themselves, and that was here in Cairo when the Fatimids arrived. The Fatimids took their name from Fatima, Muhammad's favourite daughter, the mother of Hussein. They too claimed descent from the Prophet, and these Fatimids built Cairo from scratch. There was nothing here when they arrived, and apparently they called their new capital Al-Qahira, the Conqueror, after the planet Mars, which was in the ascendancy when they got here. Some would say the planet Mars has been in the ascendancy around here ever since. The Fatimids were a revolutionary force in Islamic art. They changed many things. Here at the Azhar Mosque, bang in the heart of Cairo, they built a cluster of colleges devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. It was the world's first university, founded in 972. Yes, 972. The Fatimids were particularly keen on education as a way of spreading the Shiite theology and gaining extra converts in secret. It's a different route to power, and some still employ it. See these arches? Keel-shaped, they're called. Those were a Fatimid invention. Cairo is particularly good for arches. That mosque with the spiral minaret has pointed arches, superb pointed arches. They weren't an Islamic invention. The Sassanids had used them already, but Islam developed and popularized the pointed arch, and then passed it westwards so that the Gothic age could happen. Gothic owes so much to Islam. I love these spaces, these forests of columns. This is called the hypostyle type of mosque, which basically means that it has lots and lots of columns supporting a flat roof. It's a very simple way of building, descended directly from that portico in the Prophet's courtyard, where the palm trees and the thatch gave his followers somewhere to shelter from the sun. This does exactly the same. But see here, where the mihrab is, a small dome, a widening, because almost despite itself, Islam was developing a need to mark its most holy wall more grandly. It's a tendency we'll be keeping an eye on, because this need to rise up to dizzy heights becomes one of the key issues in Islamic architecture. Among the most famous of all Quranic verses is the one inscribed most often on mosque lamps. It's called the light verse, Surah 24:35. God is the light of heaven and earth. The similitude of his light is a niche in the wall. The glass appears as if it were a shining star.
We know this is royal. It was made for Sultan Barkuk, Egyptian ruler. We know the date, which is about 1385.
It's dated, is it?
It's toward the end of, no, we know when he ruled. That's why we know the date.
And this would hang just in front
either in the mosque or in the house. But they call it mosque lamp because that is the description that was given when it was produced. But it didn't mean that it was specifically used in the mosque. It was probably was used in probably homes and palaces too. And then there were chains coming from here, holding this. And most of the time, they had a ball which was like an ostrich egg.